When I started working with ImmutableJS from Facebook, I found it incredibly difficult to understand the documentation. It was unlike anything I had come across before and made it challenging for me to understand how to use the different functions. Let's look at list.find and get a better understanding of the documentation format. So it gives a description that says it returns the first value for which the predicate returns true. We can see that the return is denoted by a colon and a capital T, which just represents a value in the list. So we understand what find will return. Now let's look at the arguments we should pass in. The first is predicate, which is a term used to describe a function that will return a Boolean. It's shown in the ES6 format as an arrow function, and we can see that it's supposed to return a Boolean because indicated by the arrow Boolean. The predicate function we write will have access to three things. The first is value, which is a list item. The second is key, which is a number, although if you're thinking about an immutable list like an array, keep in mind that the key is like the index of an array item. The third is the entire iterable, which is the list. It's shown in a weird format, but the number comma t just means the key is a number and the value is type t. The other two arguments are optional, which is indicated by the question mark after the name of the argument. Now let's use list.find and get a better understanding of how it all fits together. We've set up an immutable list and are trying to find an item in the list. We're using function instead of an arrow function because we're passing in context. So this will equal C, which is an object with the find value key. We're also passing in notSet, which is the value to use if no item is found. We run our function and see that we find the second item, in which A equals find value of 2. Let's change the find value to something that is not in the list, so none of the list items match. We expect the notSet object to be returned here. So we run it and see that notSet was returned. When in doubt, it's helpful to try and use the function to see what the arguments are for. But knowing a bit more about the format of the docs can be really helpful when trying to understand how to use immutable functions.